The sterile blue lights of the Galactic Medical Station's intensive care unit hummed with an otherworldly efficiency that had saved countless lives across 17 different species. Dr. Zix Thrall, a distinguished Centaurian physician with 4 arms and crystalline skin, reviewed the holographic charts floating before her multifaceted eyes. In 30 years of interstellar medicine, she had never encountered a case quite like this. Human Cadet Neha Sharma lay motionless on the bio bed, her small frame dwarfed by the complex array of life support equipment surrounding her. The mining accident on Kepler 442b had left her with severe internal injuries, multiple fractures, and trauma that would have killed most species instantly. Yet here she was, clinging to life with that peculiar human tenacity that had become legendary throughout the galaxy. What puzzled Dr. Zix Thrall wasn't the extent of Neha's injuries or even her miraculous survival. It was her repeated, delirious requests for something the medical staff couldn't understand.
Adnan.
Where's Adnan? Neha whispered through cracked lips whenever consciousness briefly returned. Please.
I need my dragon.
The medical team exchanged confused glances. Dragons were mythical creatures from human folklore, weren't they? Dr. Zix Thrall had studied comparative xenobiology and recalled reading about these legendary beasts in human cultural archives. Fire-breathing reptilian creatures that existed only in their ancient stories and entertainment media. The human is experiencing severe psychological trauma, diagnosed Dr. Kethwar, a Vorthan psychiatrist whose tentacled head writhed with concern. She's retreating into childhood fantasies. This dragon fixation is clearly a coping mechanism. But Neha's vital signs spiked dangerously each time she made the request, and her recovery seemed stalled. Standard psychological stabilizers had no effect. Whatever this Adnan represented to her, the separation was actively hindering her healing process. 3 days into her treatment, everything changed. The ICU's main doors burst open with such force that several alien medical staff jumped backward in alarm. What entered defied every assumption they had made. Adnan was indeed a dragon, standing nearly 8 feet tall with scales that shifted from deep emerald to brilliant gold depending on the light. He possessed an undeniably reptilian appearance. His powerful wings were folded tightly against his muscular frame, and his elongated snout held rows of sharp teeth that gleamed like polished ivory. Most striking were his eyes, ancient, intelligent, and currently blazing with barely contained fury. Where is she? Adnan's voice rumbled like distant thunder, causing the medical equipment to vibrate slightly. His forked tongue flicked out, tasting the air. Where is Neha? Dr. Zix Thrall found herself speechless, all 4 arms frozen in surprise. Behind Adnan strode Commander Torres, the human station coordinator, looking both apologetic and determined. Doctor, I apologize for the dramatic entrance, Commander Torres said quickly. But this is Cadet Adnan Khalil, Neha's partner and fellow Academy graduate. He's been requesting access since the accident occurred. Partner? Dr. Zix Thrall's voice cracked with confusion. But he's actually a dragon. Adnan's massive head turned toward her, and she saw something that shook her understanding of the universe. Gentle concern mixed with barely restrained anguish. I am Draconian, yes, Adnan replied, his voice softening as he spoke. From the Pyros system. Neha and I have been bonded since our first year at the Academy. She is my heart sister, my chosen family. Now please, let me see her. Dr. Zix Thrall's medical training warred with her astonishment. Protocol demanded that only family members or registered partners be allowed in the ICU. And this relationship wasn't in any of their databases. The scans showed she was calling for a mythical creature, Dr. Kethwar interjected, his tentacles coiling with scientific fascination. We assumed it was delusional behavior. Adnan's laugh was like controlled fire. Mythical? Doctor? Humans have legends about dragons because they met us long before they reached the stars. Some stories are echoes of ancient truth. Commander Torres stepped forward. Doctors, what you're witnessing is one of the most remarkable partnerships in the Academy's history. Adnan and Neha scored the highest compatibility ratings ever recorded. They're not just partners, they're a bonded pair. In Draconian culture, that's deeper than marriage, deeper than family. They're literally 2 halves of one operational unit. The mining accident, Adnan continued, his voice thick with emotion, separated us for the first time in 4 years. She's dying because part of her soul is missing, and I haven't slept or eaten since I felt her pain through our bond. Dr. Zixthral made a decision that would change interstellar medical protocol forever. Take me to her, now. As they entered Neha's room, Adnan's composure finally cracked. The massive dragon moved with surprising gentleness, his clawed hands hovering over the human girl who looked impossibly fragile beneath the medical equipment. "Little Star," he whispered, using what was clearly a private nickname. "I'm here." What happened next would be discussed in medical journals across the galaxy for decades to come. The moment Adnan's clawed finger touched Neha's hand, every monitor in the room began registering dramatic improvements. Her heart rate stabilized, brain activity increased, and cellular regeneration accelerated beyond anything the medical team had seen. Neha's eyes fluttered open, focusing immediately on her dragon companion. "You came," she breathed, her voice stronger than it had been in days. "Always," Adnan replied simply. "You called for your dragon, and dragons always answer." Dr. Zixthral watched in amazement as Adnan carefully positioned himself beside the biobed, creating a protective barrier with his wing while maintaining physical contact with Neha. Within hours, her recovery progressed faster than any projections had indicated possible. "The bond," Dr. Kethwar murmured in awe, taking readings with his instruments. "Their biorhythms are synchronizing. Her body is using his strength to heal itself." 3 weeks later, Cadet Neha Sharma was cleared for duty, completely recovered from injuries that should have taken months to heal. As she and Adnan prepared to return to their assignment, Dr. Zixthral approached them with something she had never felt before: humility in the face of a bond she couldn't fully understand but deeply respected. "How?" she asked simply. "How does it work?" Neha smiled, her hand resting on Adnan's scaled forearm. "Some connections transcend biology, Doctor. Humans call it love. Draconians call it soul bonding. The universe just calls it... right." Adnan nodded, his ancient eyes twinkling with warmth. "When species truly choose each other, when the connection is genuine, the universe itself conspires to keep them together. Neha needed her dragon, so her dragon came. It's really that simple." As they walked away together, the small human woman and her massive dragon companion, Dr. Zixthral updated the medical protocols to include a new category: interspecies bonded pairs. Sometimes, she realized, the most advanced medicine in the galaxy was simply allowing love to do what love does best: heal, protect, and endure against all odds. The universe, it seemed, was far more magical than even their most sophisticated instruments could measure.